Hi, and welcome everyone to this SAP community call. My name is Minina Chao. I'm your host today. And before we get started, please find the Q&A icon in your menu bar where you can already raise questions now and of course during the presentation. We will definitely reserve some time at the end, as always, where you can address the questions with the experts. And yeah, let's welcome our speakers first. So we have Nitin Datta, who is Chief Product Expert in the SAP Product Engineering. He's part of the team that is focused on delivering end-to-end integration, recruit to retire business process across the SAP's Intelligent Enterprise Suite. And with him is Frank Parais. He is Director of the Product Management for SAP SuccessFactors, responsible for employee central integrations. And in his role, he's also in charge of the SAP SuccessFactors part of the Intelligent Enterprise Suite at SAP. With this said, I'm happy to hand over to Nitin on today's topic, which is connecting people across the intelligent enterprise.
Thanks, Nina, for the introductions and a warm welcome from myself as well as from Frank to all of you for joining today's call. Like Nina said, the topic is recruit to retire business process. And we're talking about connecting people across the intelligent enterprise. We have a packed agenda, so let's get started. So the agenda for today is as follows. I will be talking about the business priorities that we are seeing for the HR leaders. Then I'll talk about the SAP's holistic strategy, give you the big picture, but at the same time, we'll be diving deep so that you have a good understanding of how the recruit to retire business process is coming together across the intelligent enterprise. Frank Parais will be talking about the end-to-end hire to retire business process, its business benefits as well as customer success. Then I'll come back and I'll talk about the external workforce, all the integrations that we are doing there, and then come and also share with you the assets that we have developed and do a wrap up. So look, we all are experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has really impacted our personal lives as well as our work life. And though at this time, there seems to be a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, we all can acknowledge that the impacts are going to be longer lasting. From a business perspective, what we are seeing is that every industry is being disrupted, and companies that want to be competitive are going through massive transformation. In fact, because of pandemic, we are seeing a huge spike in terms of sorry about that. So because of the pandemic, we are seeing a huge spike in terms of the digital transformation projects. So question is, why is it happening? And because of the pandemic, customers have pretty much realized that they do need to digitize their business processes. They need to connect their front office to the back office so that they are much more nimble, much more resilient, so that they can take care of the changing requirements from their customers. Now, when you look at these business transformation projects, and when you take away all the layers and really look at the core of it, every transformation is actually a people transformation. And we all know that people is a huge differentiator. People and talent is a huge differentiator for companies. Having the right talent can really help companies grow and be successful. So against this backdrop, the main business outcome that is expected of the CHROs is to deliver an exceptional workforce experience so that the employees are engaged, they're inspired, and they're giving their best. Now the question is, what does SAP offer to the CHROs? So SAP offers a holistic strategy with the intelligent enterprise, where we combine the best of breed with the best of suite. And of course, this is helping the customers deliver on their expected outcome, right? The CHROs, they deliver the expected outcome. Now, with this strategy of best of breed and best of suite, we think there are two major benefits for our customers. Number one, because we are focused on the best of breed, we can really bring the line of business innovations faster to the customers. Just look at what SAP SuccessFactors has done in HXM, Human Experience Management. They've taken the capabilities of Qualtrics, combined it with HR, and they've changed the game on the competition. They are now the market makers of HXM. Similarly, with the other products, S4HANA, SAP Fieldglass, and SAP Concur, they're all leaders in their own areas, and they continue to invest and innovate for the customers. Keep in mind, it's very important to understand that SAP is actually anchoring these best of breed applications onto a common platform, which is the SAP BTP, Business Technology Platform. And with that, we are really driving that interoperability between these business applications. The second big advantage, because of this strategy of best of breed and best of suite, is that we are not only helping the customer, the CHROs meet their expected outcome, but also that we are enabling them to have proactive collaboration with the rest of the business, like, for example, with finance, with IT, with procurement, with sales, so that they can all jointly move the needle for the company. Now, let's see how the business strategy is coming together at SAP for our customers. So here's a slide that kind of talks about the intelligent enterprise vision that SAP has. We are bringing the infrastructure, technology, the business applications, the business processes, as well as the business network all together, so that we can support companies to become that much more resilient, that much more profitable, and that much more sustainable. So let's peel the layer a little bit. Here's a slide. I believe this is a nice slide, a visual slide that should help connect the dots as to how we are bringing the best of breed and best of suite together and realizing the intelligent enterprise. Now you'll see the applications listed on the left side: S4HANA, SuccessFactors, Concur, and Fieldglass. These are all integral part of the intelligence suite. And you'll also notice that there is this business process recruit to retire, which runs on top of these business applications and across the enterprise. So for the recruit to retire business process to run seamlessly, we are ensuring that these best of breed applications are working off of the same common platform so that they are interoperable, and we are going beyond that point-to-point integrations. The other thing we are also doing is that we all know that people are the center of the business. People, data, and their insights are needed by the downstream systems as well as business processes to run smoothly. So we are ensuring that HR is no longer a silo, but the people data is being used by other systems and the business processes. So at the end of the day, what customers are looking for is that they can listen, understand, and take action based on what's going on in the marketplace, as well as the workforce signals that they are getting, so that they can steer the company in real time. Now, I have mentioned recruit to retire business process a few times. So let's see how SAP defines this recruit to retire business process. So SAP did go back to the drawing board, I would say around 18 to 24 months ago, where we took a look at the scope of recruit to retire business process. We have reimagined it, and we have actually expanded the scope of recruit to retire business process to go beyond the confines of the traditional HR function. So you can see how we are defining it. When we are talking about total workforce, we are absolutely including the external workers in addition to the employees. So when we are talking about total workforce, it's employees plus the external worker. And that's why you may have seen me mention workforce experience and not just the employee experience. Let me also focus your attention in the middle of the slide, where we have defined these three business applications, three business processes that make up the recruit to retire process. So we have hire to retire business process, which is really around managing the life cycle of an employee. The travel to reimburse business process is all about the management of the travel piece of a worker, whether it's an employee or an external worker. When they travel, all the expenses, we are managing all of that so that the employees are getting reimbursed properly. And the external workforce is all about managing the life cycle of an external worker, right? Right from the time they get onboarded all the way to the offboarding from the project. And all of this, of course, is working off of the business applications like SuccessFactors, Concur, Fieldglass, and S4. So now that we have seen this recruit to retire business process, let's get a little bit more details on the integration itself. So from a pure integration perspective, our customers are asking for three things from SAP. It's number one is SAP to SAP integration. Second one is SAP to third-party integrations, and the third piece is the one domain model or the aligned domain model. For the SAP to SAP integrations, customers are saying go beyond the point-to-point integrations that we had. Think about it more holistically so that we can actually consume your best-of-breed applications very easily. For the SAP to third-party, they're asking us to share all the APIs so that they can not only connect SAP to SAP, but also to SAP to third-party applications that they may have in their landscape. And regarding the one domain or the aligned domain model, they are saying that, hey, please define these objects that are shared across these business applications so that they are semantically understood between the systems, and that'll also help have the business processes run smoothly. Now, of course, SAP has taken those things into consideration. And what we have done is three different things. First of all, we have doubled down as an organization, we have doubled down on integration. So the agenda for product engineering at SAP is not only innovations, but also on integration. And then, like I said, we have done 3 things in response to the asks from our customers in purely from an integration perspective. One is we have said all these business applications that SAP has, they're all integral part of the intelligence suite. We have defined these 4 business processes that are pretty much run across most of the organizations: design to operate, recruit to retire, lead to cash, and source to pay. And then what we have also done is actually defined the intelligence suite qualities. And you can see them listed there. There are 7 of them. And what we have done is we have asked our development teams to comply with these suite qualities so that we can ensure that these processes that we see here, recruit to retire, design to operate, lead to cash, and source to pay, they all run seamlessly on top of the business applications. And of course, all of this is powered by the SAP Business Technology Platform. So good. So once we have shown this, what I also wanted to talk about was the 7 business suite qualities that you saw listed. They, in combination with the business processes that we are making sure that they run seamlessly, there's a lot of value for our customers. And this slide kind of talks about the value that we are bringing with those 7 business qualities, suite qualities. So on the left side, note that previously we had our business applications, each one of them had their own technology stack, and then they were integrated with the other parts, other lines of business applications through point-to-point integration. On the right, you will see that now it is much more harmonized. They're all working off of the same technology platform. We have defined these business processes, which we are ensuring that they run seamlessly, and these business applications are interoperable. In the middle, you'll see these 7 suite qualities listed. So previously, for example, the user experience between these business applications was kind of disconnected. Now we have done a lot in terms of making it much more smoother, in the sense that the look and feels is getting kind of harmonized, right? Now, there's a lot of work to be done, but with every release, you will see that the user experience is getting better and better. Similarly, for the inbox, right? So every application previously had their own inboxes where the managers had to go and approve of things. Now we have created a single unified inbox where it makes it much more easier for the managers to go and manage the tasks there. Here's another way to look at the value from all the integrations that we are delivering. Higher the sophistication in terms of integration, higher is the business value. What we have done with the Intelligence Suite integration is really integration at the data layer, integration at the business process layer, integration at the UX layer, and then integration at the analytics layer. And we are actually going beyond that and also trying to harmonize the application lifecycle management across the best of breed applications that we have. So in terms of how do we start to provision the tenants, how do we start to monitor all the system messages in a cohesive way. With that, actually, I would like to hand over to Frank. He's going to go and peel another layer of the onion, so to speak, and walk you through the data harmonization efforts that we are doing. Over to you, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. So the next chapter that I want to go through is, as Nitin said, the data harmonization. So you saw one of the suite qualities that we follow. That is the one domain model, the aligned domain model. So what we do really, whenever we have master data to integrate between the solutions, we first look into what is the kind of attributes, what is the structure for that master data, align it between all the providers and consumers, and then put it in the middle into the master data integration service. So the central piece here on business technology platform is the master data integration service, and that is the unit where all the master data goes through. Now, from our recruit to retire process, we have the hire to retire, we have the external workforce, plus the third one, travel. But looking at the first two, it's S/4HANA, it's SuccessFactors, it's Fieldglass. That is part of the picture of these two processes. And we started with two very important master data entities to integrate with. One is the cost center integration as a representative from the financials area. There is more to come, obviously, but that was the first one. And the other one is the worker and work assignment entity that we are sharing across the applications. The nice thing really is that the one thing starts on the left side in S/4HANA Cloud and flows over to SuccessFactors and Fieldglass. That is the cost center. The other one starts on the other side, like employee and work assignment. If it's an internal employee, it starts in SuccessFactors, and external workers starting at Fieldglass, and S/4HANA is the consumer. So we have a very nice integration picture already with only two entities in the first place. And that's why we have chosen those to start with. The nice thing looking at employees and work assignment is that we can at the same time look into what do we do really for the identities here, identity authentication, identity provisioning, and lastly also identity access governance. That is a big trouble point for our customers always, and taking up the entity of worker really helps us to look into that picture as well. And so that's how we started. You see already the HR organization unit, you see the job classification on the picture. That's something we have also available in the meantime. Next things would be things like currency exchange rates, bank master data, company code, skills, etc. So there is a lot of potential in there that we run for the next releases, providing harmonized master data across the solutions. And with that, coming to the next slide, Nitin, please. With that, we make it possible to look into the hire to retire process. So master data integration, of course, is one important piece, and you see the black arrows here on the picture. This is a lot where master data is flowing between the application, but master data integration is not everything that we are looking in. So we also need a smooth process. Taking hire to retire here really. So it all starts on the left side by we need to know what workforce do we need, short-term, long-term. So what are our hiring decisions? And then based on that, in Employee Central, there is a position and a job requisition. From that, we reach out to recruiting. We go through the recruiting process, finding a candidate, selecting a candidate, getting the candidate on board. So the SuccessFactors onboarding solution kicks in, helping the new person to onboard to the company, go through learning, collect data, compliance forms, etc. When the employee has started, there is of course payroll for the employee. There is the integration with S4HANA. In S4HANA, about the employee, we look into, for example, project management. We assign employees to project tasks, employees record times. And lastly, we pay or we invoice the customer where we worked on a project. So a very nice example here, a small process so far. We can very much extend it going forward. So it's not the end of hire to retire that we see here. You could also think of learning could be in there. So an employee that is assigned to projects may also need to learn things. When you look at the left side, starting the process, it could also be the case that we have to take into consideration data that is coming from S4, so we know what plans we want to open in the future, where we need workforce for these new opened plans, etc. So there is a lot of things we can do here, but that is the basic, and we have that already achieved here for our hire to retire process. Continuing with that, what is really now the value that is behind such a hire to retire process? Nitin, can you go to the next slide, please? So looking at the business value, of course, we have a couple of players here that are either directly part of the process or that play a key role in the organization and have an interest in a smooth and comprehensive hire to retire process. Let me start with the employee first. The employee is directly affected by the process. So for example, getting onboarded, getting smoothly, fast, easy onboarded to the company, the daily work, the user experience across the different systems, that is important. And how do I want to grow my career, etc. All that kind of information, all that basis is available there. But then there is also the executives that have a large interest in a comprehensive hire to retire process. Just to pick one or two now. The CHRO is looking into making better talent decision, aligning them with key business priorities. That's a very big topic. And if we have all the data in such a process together, that is really a big support for the CHRO. Finance data for the CFO plays a very big role, etc. Lastly, looking at the second column here, there is also a lot of leaders from sales, supply chain, operational areas that have an interest in that the people data that they use for their processes really is consistent throughout the organization, throughout the process. So there is a lot of benefits, business values here for many, many people and teams in the organization. Next slide, please. And lastly, I want to talk a little bit about customer and customer successes. So what we do right now is to look into the existing S4HANA SuccessFactors customers that already have integrated systems running. So those we are actively moving over to the new domain model. So the necessary changes that are there on both sides to adopt to the one domain model. This is what we are currently running through with the customers, and that will be pretty soon finished for all of them. One of the first ones is Mod Pizza. That is a US customer, and Nitin, together with a colleague from Mod Pizza, had recorded already a SAP Ticket session. So Mod Pizza will talk about their journey for that master data integration that they have gone through. They are using the hire to retire process with that. And lastly, I want to mention that we still look for early adopter customers. So we have set up an early adopter program to look for additional pilot customers to implement the master data integration. And you see the details here on the slide as well, if you have interested customers on that. With that, I hand over back to Nitin.
Thanks, Frank. Great job. So just like Frank talked about the data harmonization that enabled the hire to retire business process. Here's the example for the external workforce process. Just as a reminder, this is about the life cycle of an external worker. And what Frank talked about was the life cycle of an employee within a company. So similarly, the similar flow to what Frank was showing, it starts with the manager making a decision that they have an opening, and for that opening, they're actually going to use an external worker. You can see that there's an integration now with SuccessFactors and Fieldglass, where we can actually take all of that data from SuccessFactors and start to create the job posting. And once the candidate is identified within Fieldglass, we can actually take that information and send it back to SuccessFactors so that there is a higher visibility for the manager as well as HR as to how the composition of the teams is there for that company. Also, what we have also done is in terms of integration with S/4HANA as well, right from the beginning where the work order gets created in Fieldglass, and that triggers the whole PO process, the purchase requisition, purchase order process, all the way to invoicing and actually payment to the supplier. So all of that, process steps, as you can see here, is integrated now. Let me, just like Frank did, let me also talk about the business value of a smooth running external worker process. So here again, similar stakeholders who gain from this end-to-end business process running smoothly. CHRO, of course, starts to get much more flexibility in terms of composition of the teams, and because now they can go hire external workers as efficiently as they would for a full-time employee. They know much more about where those external workers are in terms of what roles they are playing, who they are, what are they doing, and things of that nature. So there's higher visibility for the CHRO for the total workforce. And then, of course, similar to what companies are trying to do in terms of higher engagement with the employees, now that they have that visibility for external workers, they can also do similar things in terms of higher engagement with the external workers and get them productive quickly. In terms of procurement itself, the head of procurement is a happy person, I would think, because they would have standardized the whole process of getting an external worker into the company, thereby minimizing the risk and also taking care of the compliance around these topics. In terms of the external worker, he or she is also a happy person because right from the onboarding all the way to working and getting paid on time and accurately, all of those things matter, and we are handling all of that. CFO is also happy because in terms of managing the budgets, they have much better visibility and they can analyze and enforce the budget aspects of it. And then, of course, the CIO in terms of reducing the cost of integration, the maintenance of all the integration points, and then hopefully we have freed up some time for the CIOs to have more strategic talk with the business so that they can help drive the objectives for the company. Just in closing, what Frank and we have done is we have put together all these links to assets. And so in terms of leveraging this discussion, as well. And you can take a look at all these documents and blogs that we have put together. Will help hopefully in your transformation projects as well. First one is really our board members talking about the updated integration strategy. Then we have listed these 4 different blogs. We have had a very big hits, as you can see, more than 10,000 views. So if you haven't read them, please take some time to read them. I think it'll give you a very good understanding. In terms of the end-to-end business process, we have done a good job of documenting hire to retire process, as well as the external workforce management process. And all of them are listed there in the API Business Hub. Please take a look at that. I think it's a very useful tool. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. We are also maintaining the roadmaps. So you can go to the Roadmap Explorer and look at what's coming. Of course, SAP community, people like Mainina and the whole team around that, they're doing a very good job of curating blogs as well as content around the topic of integration itself. So you can take a look at those sites that I've listed there. And then, of course, open SAP courses. We did a nutshell course towards the end of last year, and we had over 6,000 people sign up and take advantage of that nutshell course. We are coming up with a new one, which will be available again this November. And if you sign up, you can listen in and really get a good feel for all the things Frank talked about in much more detail as well. In closing, I'd like to have these 3 takeaways. As you can see, we are working on the recruit to retire business process. And by doing so, we are making sure that the business applications are interoperable and HR is no longer siloed, but made much more relevant for the proper functioning of the company. With our focus on innovations and integration, SAP has taken some major steps in terms of realizing the intelligent enterprise vision that we have, but not all the work has been done. More is coming. There's a release coming in Q4 as well, and expect more in 2022 as well. And then our strategy of best of breed and best of suite is working. We're not only helping the CHROs manage the expectation of delivering exceptional workforce experience, but also help them manage the total workforce as well as build a workforce of the future. With that, I would like to thank all of you guys to attend this session, and I'll hand it back to Mainina.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Frank, for your time and presentation. This is definitely the time now for Q&A for everyone. You are welcome to also use the raise hand button. We can unmute you and you can maybe speak up around a topic that you're interested in or a question that you have. Otherwise, I warmly recommend you to use the Q&A button. Yeah, please be sure to visit the SAP Integration Strategy community topic page, as this is where you can find, of course, more information about all the suite qualities mentioned, but also, yeah, latest blog posts and upcoming events, more webinars of the series. I'm posting this in the chat at the moment, and yeah. Of course, if you don't have any questions right now, I mean, we'll stay in line. If any questions come up later on, then the community is where you can definitely post your questions anytime, and the experts will be around, community members that I think are around to help you. And thank everyone for their participation and attendance. I know it's not always easy to find the time, but yeah, we really were happy for the attendance of this call, and for those of you watching the recording, same goes to you. And we hope to see you in more of these community calls. And if you wish, you can definitely reach out to us and tell us what would you like to hear about, which topics should we bring in, and which experts should we involve to have a community call. Thanks for joining.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Marlena.
listening.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.